Welcome back for another episode from my Tesla Robotaxi video series. Here in episode 16, we take a ride from the Austin Parks and Recreation Department parking lot and go all the way over to the South Austin Park. So before we get started here, one thing you'll notice here, the car pulled over to the left of this driveway as all the cars were parked in one direction, right? The parking lot is very busy. There's actually an event in a nearby event center. And there was actually a parking lot attendant as well putting out or handing out parking tags to people. Obviously, since our car is a rideshare car, they didn't have an issue. The car actually was waved through and it went and found a parking spot where you find it at the start of this video. All right, so as we start our ride here, the cars in front of us are parked in one direction. And while we're in the entrance to this parking lot, the car takes that into context. And I say that because of what happens next. So once we start going here, we're going to make a left turn here, and then we'll make another left turn right after that. Once the car makes that second maneuver there, if you look at the end of the parking lot, you'll notice that our normal exit that the car wants to use is coned off. And the problem here is, the parking lot attendants did that. Now the car thinks it doesn't really have a way to exit. So it goes back around, but then with that context initially in mind of that driveway just being one direction, it thinks it can't use that to exit the parking lot. So what happens now is that we get stuck in a loop. And I had seen something similar happen a few videos back. However, if you remember correctly, in that video, we came upon a security gate that was closed only on the weekends. And the car actually then backed up and went a different way. But because of the way this car came in and the context it took into account, it didn't think it had a way to exit. So we basically kept looping around and around. But I did give it quite a bit of time to figure itself out. Nobody was at risk, obviously. It does a great job handling pedestrians and whatnot. If anything, it may have annoyed the parking lot attendant that was wondering why the heck we kept going around and around. But I let it go about 6 times, I think, in total before I hit the contact support button, as you'll see here in a second.
Hey there, this is Tesla Robotaxi support. It looks like your vehicle seems to be failing to make progress.
Correct. Yeah, it's stuck in the loop here.
I see that. Let us get you back on your way in just a moment here. Just give us one moment while we're working on a fix for this.
Sounds good. So as we start our seventh revolution now around this spot of the parking lot, we do get another support agent on the speaker, and as a result, then the car will basically complete that seventh revolution, and then we will then park ourselves right where those cones that we just passed. So keep an eye on that.
As well, or can I help you?
Yeah, hi, we're just stuck in a loop here.
Okay.
Okay, for sure. And then you just started the trip, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I just need to
Okay,
make a right turn here where we are, and then
for
it'll
sure.
get us out.
Give us one moment, please.
All right, so the second support agent's ultimately able to get us moving again. So it looks like the car goes into reverse here. FSD still shows as engaged, but it almost feels like there's like a teleoperator that's pressing the throttle because it's very, very slow. And you'll see it almost come to a complete stop once we put the car in a drive while they're making that left turn here out of the place where we pulled back to here. So you'll notice some back and forth there between reverse and drive. And then as we proceed forward, watch the speed here on the display. So you'll see the car come to a stop here, almost like, again, somebody's trying to override what the system wants to do, right? And they're just continuing to hold that throttle there and then get it around this corner. And then once that happens, you'll notice the car picks up speed, and it then follows what looks to be updated navigation instructions that allow it to use that driveway that maybe it originally thought was one direction as an exit. And then that ultimately gets us unstuck here. So, even though the safety observer didn't intervene on the screen, the support agent definitely interacted with the car. So I'm still going to count that as intervention. But, even in these very tricky situations here, I'm glad that Tesla support has a process for this. This is something that obviously once the service gets more baked and is around longer and expands to other cities, this can't be commonplace. But I'm glad they have a way of dealing with it now.
All right, y'all. So everything looks good. Y'all enjoy your trip, okay?
Yeah,
Be
thank you
safe.
very much. Appreciate it. All right, so now that we are unstuck from this parking lot here, our first turn out of the parking lot is an unprotected right turn, which the car does a great job of, even with all the traffic and people around. At which point, then this ride becomes pretty boring. Um, there's not really any other issues beside the beginning here that we experience along this route. But nonetheless, I will go through and kind of fast forward through some of the boring parts, and then we'll get towards the drop-off location later in the ride. So over the next few minutes, we're going to come across a ton of speed bumps. As I mentioned in previous videos, Austin loves their speed bumps, and this stretch here has a ton of them. So um, I'm gonna just try to fast forward through the approaches to those, but you're gonna see a lot of speed bumps, and the car does a great job responding to each and every one of them. So as we approach our destination here, we had one more speed bump to go over, but then we'll pull right into the parking lot here near South Austin Park, and that's where I'll be dropped off. But looking back, obviously at the beginning of the ride, we ran into that loop issue. I'm glad support was able to figure it out. Be very interested to see how they deal with those scenarios going forward. I know all the data can help improve the system even that much further, but the rest of the ride was fairly uneventful. So hope you found it interesting. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.